This is probably my all-time favorite project. I loved this packard from the moment I saw it. I chopped it, sectioned it, got the proportions exactly the way I wanted to see them. And you know, life happens, right? I don't want to say that I'm disinterested, but I just had other priorities. So here it sat. There was still a lot more I wanted to see done with this. You know, I wanted it full custom, and there was still a few more things on the wish list. Put it up for sale, like, you know, who knows what could happen to it, and a good friend just made me an offer I couldn't refuse. Here we go again.
Ian, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. You got a little junk in your trunk. What is this about?
I figure I know you already have your vision,
Right.
but hey, maybe I'd give you some more tools to help you enhance your vision.
Oh, those are tools, I see.
This thing's incredible. When I heard it was up for sale, I said, there's no way I'm gonna let this thing leave our family. Number one, I want you to finish it so you can get your vision and your car completed. I want people to say, this is the car Ian built, the ultimate Merc eater. You already got 80% of the hard stuff done on this. So we need to finish it together and keep it in our family.
It does need to come full circle, and that's what I was looking for, you know, somebody to put a little heat behind it and get it started back up. Because I'm that guy. Once I see what I need to, it's like, hey, hands off, I'm done.
And I don't know how you do that. Every single car I've ever built, that's my problem. I got I mean, they're like a tap.
You gave one away.
Well, I give one away, and that's why I'm not giving this one away.
Right. All in all, it's a win-win situation. I get to do all the fab work I always dreamed of. His whole thing is the finish and the detail. Then we both get to enjoy the car when it's done.
My goal was to bring these parts in to help you complete your vision of this car. Once you're all done, you know, I'll look at it and we might enhance a couple things, but with your approval and, you know, make sure it's what you would have done.
Yeah, no, I've seen it before, you know, the old switcheroo. I want to see you do exactly what you need to do, as long as it's with these parts and they're put here in this place. You just want A, B, C, and D included in my vision.
No. I'm giving you ideas for one car lover to another car lover.
I know there's going to be some slight modifications, you know, a little bit of a different interpretation from my grand vision at the beginning. But that just comes with the territory when we work together. We got a track record, man. I don't know how many cars we built. Let's do it again. With all these parts, like a whole new world of opportunities just opened up for this car.
That's a 1954 Chevy grill.
54 Chevy, right. That's cool. Oh, wow. That's a big freaking bumper, man.
An Oldsmobile.
I gotta say, it's pretty much a fabricator's paradise when you get to start with all the best pieces. Buick.
A Buick.
This needs no introduction.
Yeah,
This is kind of iconic.
Yeah, a 56.
The usual overkill of options. We got all the things. One cannot overstate the statements of Victor being a passionate man. You know, he goes out and he's like, yes, it's time to get the stuff. I got 50 acres and he's gonna use them all. Look at this. Oh man, look at this thing. But wait, it gets better. Wow, that's DeSoto?
DeSoto grill.
This really defines how we work together, you know? I'm talking ideas and he's bringing the stuff, you know? It's just two different ways of exploring.
If this doesn't satisfy you, just say, Victor, I need more stuff, and I'll bring you more inspiration.
Yeah, I want a chrome lawn. You could see it from the space station. We got so much chrome out here. I'm really happy to be a part of this arrangement because the car was probably just gonna sit there on the side of the shop. So Victor coming up with this offer is the best case scenario. I'm already getting ideas about these Cadillac parts, man. I love those bullets. Got a lot of inspiration, a lot of parts, a lot of ideas. Now all we gotta do is put it where it all belongs. Well, that little meeting with Victor was quite interesting. I was considering selling the car and losing it, not knowing what would go on with it, and Victor steps in and says, hey, let's both have it and still do exactly what you want to do, with minor enhancements. Tom and I did a huge amount of work in the fabrication on this. You know, the section and the chop on this was a lot of labor. and Victor's like, "You can't sell the thing, look at all the work you've done." So that's really who Victor is. He's a solid finisher every time. I grabbed a few choice pieces from Victor's ultimate pick-apart selection. My concept from the start was always this cartoonish kind of thing. So you have a Led Sled, right? It's all sleek and low, kind of gangster style, right? But then you have this ominous front grille, like when it's coming down the road. It looks kind of like a menacing cartoon. Victor and I have a long relationship. He's never once said, "Do what you want and I'll finish it." So I'm a little hesitant, a little taken aback, but he said, "Do what I want," and he's not around, so that's where I'm going. I have some ideas, but there's nothing like the initial mock-up to see where we're at. First things first is to take these packard parts off the front. This bumper and grille are definitely not happening. Even before we did this radical body modification, the car was set up with a lot of undercarriage work. It has a complete late model front clip installed, V8 engine, and it's all set up to have airbags installed already. You know, they say it rides like it's on rails. I'm gonna take off this whole crossbar in the front. I'm just setting up a couple steel brackets that'll keep the fenders aligned. Looking better already. So you can see the difference. Cadillac has a little bit more to offer than the Packard. The thing about the Cadillac bumper is it's iconic. Everybody loves it. It's got the most unique bumper and grille, I think, from any car in the 50s. So it's a standard, it's a classic, it's an icon. Those are three things I want my car to resemble. We're gonna take all the Packard off the front of this thing. In Victor's words, "Ian, this is what we call a blank slate. We're at ground zero, anything can happen now." He's a big, gnarly face. I'd say that's a strong contender. Look how that fits up. Cadillac bumper looks good, but right now I'm seeing a few modifications right out of the gate. We're gonna go for a little of this and a little of that. I love the Cadillac Jaguars, you know, those two giant bullets. But that's factory Cadillac, right? We want something a little bit different. And I think just putting a massive front grille on it is gonna make it even weirder. Notice I didn't say better. The challenge on the front of this Packard is to just make something completely unique. You know, it's real easy to take an idea and duplicate it. I'm trying to come up with something fresh, something one-off, something that really like brings the wow factor. So if it looks like a giant weird object coming down the road, like it could have just landed in Area 51, then we're on the right path. I have a long history of cutting up Victor's prized possessions. The old rusty bolt technique, the oldest trick in the book. Aha! It was clear from the start that the headlights are gonna get moved also, so that's the thing. I'm not even worried about those old locations. This is my favorite part, cutting them up. The initial mock-up is super important, no matter how loose it appears. You know, it's giving me an idea of proportion, dimension, how things are gonna work together. So it may look super loose at the beginning, but you gotta start somewhere. Now we're talking. Well, I love the look of this. What bothers me is the giant hole in the middle of the car. I got these Buick parts. I started thinking kind of a what-if scenario. What about something like that? But then where do the headlights go? That's the other issue. And this is where we take a right turn. We could just stack a bunch of parts on the front of this car, but I want it to look purposeful, like it belongs that way. I love it. This is the tail, the exact tail of the good old-fashioned mock-up. Packard was just such a nose-in kind of arrangement. I feel like this big, giant grille will really help it out. And you know, like a bunch of these Buick teeth. Like a whole row of them. Merc eatering grille. It's gotta have massive teeth. Right now, I'm just looking at the grille and bumper, how that chrome parts fit together. You know, later on down the road, all the sheet metal on the fenders is gonna have to be modified. This would seem like a lot of work to to the average individual. But for Victor, it's probably a walk in the park as long as I'm accomplishing it. So that's where we're going with this. I want a big ominous grille on the car, and that's all I'm looking at. I'll figure out the rest later. It's kind of like doing your taxes. Wait till the last minute. But it's going to take a considerable amount of fabrication and rearranging to make this look like it belongs on this car. So I got an idea to up my game. Class is in session, but this time I'm the student. I'm the one taking notes. Now I'm working on this front bumper arrangement, and I need to make some really three-dimensional sheet metal panels. And I got a hold of this English wheel because I want to take it to the next level.
Well, we can do that.
I first heard about Bill and his book because he's a fan of the show. So he writes me a message, dude, I love your show. I love what you're doing. I have the information you need to take your career to the next level.
People have this mistaken impression that it takes 40 years and you had to have been born in London. You can learn English wheeling in 40 hours if you apply yourself.
You know, that's what my high school teacher said. You could really be something if you'd only apply yourself. My end game here is to build cool stuff. Just to learn something for the sake of it, not so interested. But knowing the end results that are offered, count me in.
We can get you up to speed today, and adding some coach building tips and tricks to your toolbox so that by tomorrow you'll feel comfortable making full-size panels.
Heck yeah.
It does not take 40 years to learn this.
Thank goodness, because I'm almost out of time. I'm almost ready to retire. The term coach building is simply taking a piece of sheet metal and creating car bodies.
I always like to start with a motorcycle fender. A motorcycle fender can have all the shapes of any car.
Because the challenge is making these dome and dish shapes.
That's
right?
exactly right. And there are only 4 things you can do with any piece of sheet metal.
Like Bill said, there's only a few shapes you can make from sheet metal. The technique is how you get there. You know, this crown and reverse are the 2 things you're working with.
A crown is pretty easy to understand. It's basically, if you hold it right, it will hold water. But the other shape that you have to make, especially if you're doing these 1940s kind of cars, you have to make a reverse. See that?
Science.
So, science. You've got a curve going that way, but you also have a curve going that way. And no matter how you hold this, it will not hold water. That is a reverse.
That's cool. Nice. Bill's explanation was very clear, very tactile. You had a model to understand, and it tasted great.
This is called the tucking tool, and this has been around since the medieval period. This is how they made armor. This is a roofing hammer that I bought in Belgium. What you're gonna do is crush these shrinks, and you'll see that whole panel start to curve over now. What do you notice already about this panel?
I noticed you ruined a perfectly good piece of aluminum.
Oh no.
I thought you were the pro.
They call these little deformities a bag of walnuts,
You ain't
okay?
kidding.
So we're gonna make this bag of walnuts even bigger. Let's get rid of the walnuts in the English wheel.
I don't do well in groups, I don't do well in class, so this one-on-one lesson is ideal.
Look how far we've brought this already in just a few minutes. An English wheel is a rotary hammer. Think of having, an infinite number of hammerheads. Pop, 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 pop. That's just so much faster than the handwork that we were doing originally.
For sure. Him explaining this wheel as like a rotary hammer, it's a really interesting concept. It is basically banging on the surfaces that are presented to it. It's not a wheel of like a car that's just rolling over something.
All right, Ian, one of the first things I want to show you is something called the apprentice panel. In England after World War I, 14-year-old apprentices would come into a factory. They first had to prove that they could take a flat piece of metal, make a perfect dome of that metal, and then get back to a perfectly flat piece of metal. Wow. And if you're gonna pass this class, you're gonna have to be able to do that, okay? So what's the first thing we need to draw on any panel?
The first thing we need to draw is this equation. I've got 35 years of experience on those kids. Let's rock.
Perfect. Ian, you got a feel for this. I want you to make this panel perfectly flat again. No cheating. It's nothing but a rotary hammer.
Right.
Pow, 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 pow. I think that's really pretty darn good. Young man, you are no longer an apprentice. You have graduated into the shop.
I gotta say, this is one of the proudest days of my life, to graduate from Apprentice English Wheeling 101. That English wheel lesson got my brain spinning. This concept of coach building, it's something I've always known about but never really experienced. Now knowing how I can just form the sheet metal to whatever I want it to look like without relying on an existing car part, that's a new challenge. Before I set out to build these panels on the front end, I need to do a little more finalizing on the mock-up. I love the Cadillac bumper. I love those Buick teeth, so try to figure out how to make them look like they belong on the car and then build to that. I know Victor's running white walls in the end with this car, just like all the rest, so threw on a temporary set of white walls, that gets the bumper right down to the ground. The bumper was like almost 4 inches wider than the car, so I just cut out the center of it, brought it in, and welded it back together. First thing first is these Buick teeth. This will be the center one, and I want that to just hide that. My process always starts really loose, just stacking a bunch of ideas and seeing what looks best. But now it's to the point where like fantasy meets reality. I take the old Buick bumper and segment that and just bolt these all in place. Even though this Buick bumper is in pretty rough shape, it does offer these perfectly spaced holes where the teeth bolt on. So that's a good starting point to get them at least positioned. So now it looks like a bumper again. All about the mock-up. You would think that these would be all the same, but they're all unique. There's a left and a right side of these things. What I'm trying to look for between the Cadillac and the Buick parts is like a flow. It's like I feel those teeth either have to go like up. They have to go up. I was thinking I would see this chrome, but I'm gonna delete it. The whole key for me, it's just like making music. When it sounds right, it's right. Good news is the front of the car is getting lighter and lighter with every modification. There's no instruction manual, there's no rules, just what feels right. I like that. You know, that's a mouthful right there. The only thing I would add to that is maybe this upper grill bar somehow. The mock-up's really coming to life, but to have these parts technically fit with the car is a little bit more involved. Not 100% on this upper grill bar, but what I love about it is how it comes down, down. It's that classic waterfall effect where it's just stepping down. The upper lip, maybe, maybe not, but once I place the headlights, that'll determine. I like these, early, mid-50s Oldsmobile. These are the original Packard headlights. The whole front of this Packard is looking completely different than it was when it's stock, so there's nowhere to attach these headlights, so I'm just creating a simple crossbar to hang the bezels and figure out what looks appropriate. I'm just looking for that face, you know? The face only a mother could love. As long as that's cool, I can build anything behind it. I want the car to be custom, right? So it's easy to just hang a picture on the wall. I don't want that. I want it to look a little more aggressive, a little Frankenstein-y, a little bit overbearing. It looks a little like Victor to me. It's got the mustache. It's got the cool vibes. It's not his car quite yet. I'm not concerned in the least about anything. So this hood, it's a no-brainer. Cut it right through. This should illustrate it quite clearly. There's your problem right there. It just doesn't line up. It's a complete mismatch. The Packard grille design and the Buick grille design are totally different shapes, so the front of the hood's definitely gonna be modified. Victor said, do whatever I want, so hey, I've created a grille in the fashion of the man himself. Now all it's left to do is just build a car that supports that look. I got this whole nose, all the car parts mocked up. I go to the mailbox, I got a surprise package from Bill. He says this is everything I'm gonna need for my adventure. When I invited Bill over, I was expecting to simply learn about the English wheel and the process, but he had a lot more to say regarding theory, work ethic, etc. He says, hold on, I'm gonna send you a couple things that's really gonna send you on your way. A baseball bat hammer. Every American shaper has one. Works well. Great for TV. Never used one? Can't wait to try it out. Secondly, this looks like something I'd make. This is the top of an oxygen or acetylene bottle welded to a piece of pipe. It's another hammering tool. Remember that tool where you shrink the edges? He made one of those for me. He gave me a big one. Now that's what I'm talking about. I gotta say, there's nothing more fulfilling than an unsolicited motion of goodwill. This is exactly the lightsaber from Yoda that I was looking for. What an awesome delivery. It's everything I need to move forth into battle on this Packard. And coining tools. All I've done thus far is set the stage for failure. I mean, for success and learning. Mocked up the grille, the bumper, the headlights. Before it was just sitting, now it's mounted tight. And it's all framed out in this round rod. All I know is the headlight goes here, and it's got to taper into that fender, however I feel it's right. This is a brand new adventure. You know, this sample that Bill and I worked on really illustrates it perfectly. So on all the other projects, I've just been taking a flat sheet of steel and bending it in one direction. What I'm trying for is somewhere between this and this. I like confronting challenges head on, no wishy-washy about it. It's yes or no, and when it's yes, it's at all costs. Because I'm not needing that big a crown on this, I think I'm just gonna run it through that hand shrinker. First thing is to start whacking. Let's try out the old slugger. Bill's delivery came right on time. I pulled those tools out of the box and got right to work. You'll see already, creating that fender arch shape. Now it's curving this way and that way. It's essential in any development is to acquire new skills. It was like when you learn to tie your shoes, right? Instead of just wearing slip-ons like I do. In trying to step up the game, I got this new skill and I'm gonna work on it. You know, just thinking about curvature, right? It's like, where do you start? I don't know, start from another piece of the car. So just as a preliminary thing, I put the contour gauge on the center of the roof and transfer that to the fender. Contour gauge is a great starting point because you have a definite, and when you need to make multiple parts, you put your gauge on and it tells you where you need improvement. I'm not saying this is easy, and I'm not saying that I'm good at it, but look at the difference. Seriously, I'm about 2 hours into this. This is really exciting to see this shape develop. Lumping this piece of metal with a modified baseball bat and turning it into a fender, that's pretty groovy. Let's see what it looks like on the car. This is a good starting point. This is gonna be the trickiest part, the reverse, because this is just a bowl shape. It's gonna come down and then spill out. That's what he said, it'll never be a bowl. It's always gonna shed water. I'm just gonna tack this in place. If I have to change something, I'll cut and section as needed. It can be enhanced, it can be brought up, but that next part where the headlight comes down into the hood is the real challenge. Creating the fender in this manner of multiple pieces really helps me out because it's the same type of steps I take like when I was designing the front grille. Focus on one small part and build off of that. What I'm trying to decide is, do I want the fender to just be like up to the headlight or do I want it to be more like a shelf across? I'm feeling like more like a shelf across. Even though I graduated from Bill's apprentice panel workshop, I possess a master's degree in winging it. Bill says most people would create a buck and build to that, so you know your forms and where you're going with the shaping. I'm not affording myself that because I'm really not sure what I'm building, so that's a good recipe for a disaster scenario, and in my opinion, that ups the challenge. This is gonna be the crown, and that's gonna be the reverse. See what we can do. At a point in everything, you just gotta be you, right? You gotta do your own thing and you have to apply all the knowledge you've been given. That's what makes each person's results unique. I got exactly what I wanted. Look at this shape, you know, this really swooping down from the headlight. You know, it looks like the headlight belongs. Look at that side, it's just stuck on. Now the fender goes right to it. Knowing Victor, it may have a minor enhancement, but I'm gonna finish up that other fender and see what's gonna happen with that big bulbous nose. We got freaking rodents. See the holes inside all the way in the back? I'll shoo them out of there. Aha! This is getting out of control. Not only do I have to finish that other fender, I gotta get those inspectors in here. We definitely have a mouse problem. Check this out, man. It's changed a little since the last time you seen it.
Ah, it's back in the shop.
Yeah, look at the front.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, you put in some work.
Yeah, me and Victor started collaborating on this thing, and he brought up a whole ton of parts.
Oh, wow.
Brought my friend Tom in to help out with this last piece of the puzzle. You know, we did all this chopping and sectioning together, and I only felt it was right to include him in this last decision.
It's riding that line between wild and,
Obscene.
yeah, it is obscene.
I think Tom doesn't know what to think, because a lot of times you would want to hear, wow, that's a pretty looking thing, right? That's easy on the eyes. This is none of that.
It's not.
My job is done.
It's not too mild. It's not what I don't know, man.
That's the reaction I was going for, right? It's like, it's supposed to be a little scary.
You did some risky work here, man.
It's risky business, baby, every day.
I noticed you got a big old hole there.
Time to get down to business. The issue of wrapping up this nose. I don't want it to look like the whale with like the big bubble on its head, like a beluga or something.
I know what you're talking about.
I don't want, because the Packard is that, right? It has like that big bulge coming forward.
Well, I'm here to help, man.
Started messing around and I wanted to ask your opinion. Like, what do you think if we just flip this? I know it's not normal protocol, but around here, the flip it upside down and backwards trick is always a go-to move.
It still looks bulbous up front, but at the same time, it stops in a squared off way right above the mustache.
It's just not gonna weld in. You can see all the gaps and the mismatch in the corners, but instead of wheeling out a new dome on the English wheel, maybe just use that piece and adapt to it. I've been really focusing on honing my English wheel skills, and I'm not afraid to dip into my bag of tricks. It's all about the end result. So why don't you work on taking the paint off of this, and I'll work on taking the paint off of that. Every one of these old cars, look at that. Hiding secrets. Nothing shocking when you're dealing with old cars, and frankly, surprises aren't surprising. You know what? You're gonna get your first English wheel lesson.
All right.
See that thing there?
Yeah,
Put it in that thing over here.
nothing over here.
And just like that, the student becomes the teacher. You know what your second lesson is?
What's that?
Don't put your fingers in that machine under any circumstances. Now, last time you were in the shop, you hurt your finger. We don't need a repeat of that. Ow! Voila. With this approach, you gotta be flexible. The key thing is just to make sure everything's symmetrical in the end. Yeah, I'd rather not cut it in half though. It's all about positioning with this nose. You know, I don't want it too pronounced and I don't want it to look like it's disappearing. Flip it back over. With your idea, show me it upside down now. What if you just stick that on top and we splice it back even more? Oh, I like that. Look at that. You know, it's gotta have the character you're looking for. If it doesn't have the character, it's not the car. Once you see it, you know it, and quickly move on. Take action and get what you're looking for. Whoa, now you're getting somewhere. Now with this machine, I can actually fuse steel together. You're gonna trip out. Last part of this equation is to see how the hood merges into the fenders.
So you're talking the fenders coming in here like this.
That way the hood's just a little cap on top. I use round rod on the edges of almost every panel simply because it gives the appearance of a rolled edge, but it's really strong. So when you're forming metal to it, you can weld it up and it doesn't distort. Cut me 2 of those and I'll work on this stuff. While my trusty assistant cuts out the sheet metal for the hood, I'll splice in the fenders and we're on our way. Like they say, old habits die hard, you know? We just took that piece of sheet metal that exists, flip it, slap it, put it in.
So just like a pancake, it got flipped.
Yes, exactly. I like that analogy. The car does have kind of a slightly nose-forward look, but I didn't want to overdo it. It was the same challenge I was approaching with the headlights, just giving a little bit of a lean forward. The same thing with the hood. I didn't want it to fall away. I wanted it all to be kind of up front, moving forward. I'm feeling good about it, but nothing tells like the formal inspection. I've waited until this point for my first inspection, and that's for a reason, because I just am going to present the concept instead of debating it.
You wasted no time to check that out, huh?
There's been a lot of changes, and he's all over it. As you've seen, completely customized the front of the car. New grille, new bumper, new headlights. Fully customized, fully formed fenders. All this is hand formed. Do you have anything at all to say?
I think he digs it, man.
He's all smiles, man. Well, I'm feeling pretty good about this fabrication on the front. I love the way the chop works with these massive bulging headlights. I cannot leave that stock bumper on the back. Something's got to change. We have yet to meet the biggest challenge, and that is the chief enhancer, the chief critic, the guy who never changes anything. Hey.
Hey, how's it going?
Victor coming through the door every time, it just feels like there's a drum roll. It's like, going all right.
Looks the same to me. What have you been doing?
When the cymbal crashes, you don't know what the response is going to be.
What, are you still on your honeymoon or something? What have you done?
On this end of the car.
Oh, sorry.
I left that one alone. This is the moment we've all been waiting for. Hopefully, I've lived up to my potential and Victor's great expectations on this project.
Holy what the hell happened to the front end of that thing? Shoot, I could get a job working for the railroad tracks, clearing off rocks and debris with this thing. Man, you came in, cut up that caddy bumper, put the Buick bumper on that thing. It's almost like some crazy designer back in the 50s got pissed off at somebody and said, I'm gonna design a car. And that's your dream right there then, huh?
That's one of them. It was more like a nightmare, but that's what I wanted to see.
I was thinking maybe you were an angry child or something.
You know, there's a lot to be said for body language, right? Like you're saying something, but you're showing me more.
I'm gonna have nightmares about that thing. I'm gonna dream that this car's chasing me around.
You know, he's talking a good game, but I could see he's slowly moving towards a different approach.
There's no words to really describe it. It's mean. You have to see it to believe it.
That's a very eloquent way to put it. You'd have to see it to believe it.
Mean, cartoonish, classic, freaky, I guess, if you really want to get to the bottom of it. That's freak.
Perfect. That's what I was going for.
It tied in, you did it. You pulled it off. How? You know how, I don't, but you did it.
So far, it seems like Victor likes it. I haven't heard that dreaded word yet.
I think you got the coolest thing you've ever built yet.
What a relief. But since we're sharing it, I'm starting to think a little bit more inclusively, not so much what would Ian do. I mean, I did everything that I would have done had it been, you know, just up to me. If it was your dream car, you know, what would you want to see done different?
Well, now that you ask,
I gotta say, I asked for it, and here we go.
all we have to do is tie the front to the side to the back, and we're done. So they're just like, and it goes by and like, wow, what did Ian do now? As I'm looking at the side, them B-pillars gotta go. I just see one massive windshield. And then of course the skirts, these skirts gotta come up to here. I gotta mimic the two front Dagmars in the back. Wow, the car goes by and they're like looking all the way through it, like what the heck happened?
Well, I don't know what the heck just happened. Maybe I shouldn't ask your opinion. Now we're building a whole new thing.
It's a slide enhancement. I don't change anything.
If I'm understanding correctly, you know, the major change is that as the car goes by and people are going, wow, the biggest change is going to be the removal of these B-pillars.
All I'm doing is getting your concept, your dreams, and I'm just adding a little bit of salt, a little bit of ketchup.
My concept with including these B-pillars and radically redesigning the rear quarter windows was specifically for this old school look. The easiest thing to do would have been when we chopped it, to just leave it open. It may not look like it, but this window is totally stretched. You know, like I say, like a 36 Ford, where when they chop them too much and this becomes miniature?
Yeah.
That's what was about to happen here. And instead, I did all this work to make this window really big. The more we talk about the custom look of the B-pillar, I think Victor might be coming around. I don't have a problem modifying it either way, but to me, it just looks more old-fashioned.
You know what, I'm kind of agreeing with you now. It's easier to build it without a B-pillar than it is to do all this enhancement. So I think you did convince me then that we should probably keep that.
I wouldn't say that there's any right or wrong in this debate. I am for sure in favor of keeping this B-pillar. We'll see what happens after the car gets to Victor's house. I love these pieces that you brought. You know, I really want to incorporate them into the tail end of the car, but we got an issue. It's looking like the last major fabrication issue is going to be the rear bumper, and I have an idea that just might work. See, one of the things when we did the original body, we made this roll pan, and I just stuck the stock bumper back on, and it completely hides it.
That is pretty interesting too. That with the two bullets in the back, I think that would look pretty clean too.
That's what I was thinking, because the front end it's overboard, right? It's really busy. So it's like the whole car is the front, and then it just slips away, a really simple tail end.
I agree with you on that.
Sounds like I have my work cut out for me. And Victor's saying, do whatever you gotta do. You have all the equipment you need. Just make it look good, champ. It's just business as usual with this rear bumper. You know, nothing full custom comes easy. Got kind of a change of plans. You know, this car, as Victor says, is telling us what it wants. What it wanted was this Buick bumper that I cut apart, the leftover pieces from the front. You know, I need this part of the bumper in the back, so I thought, why not just use the Buick? Like I say, you gotta be open to everything, right? I have no hard and fast design or theory, so sometimes the answer's sitting right in front of you. So to me, it only made sense to section it, clip it, cut it, reassemble it, flip it upside down, and put it on the back of the car. Like that. I feel like it really affords this kind of split bumper design. It shows the roll pan, and it's still one piece. I was really frustrated with this. I went back and forth to Victor's twice. I got Cadillac stuff, I got Chevy stuff, Packard stuff, and you know, I'm just spinning my wheels. I'm getting too deep into it, and I'm like, dude, you have bumper parts from the front of the car. Why don't you just put them on the back? I think that's one thing that experience provides, is like when you hit a wall like that, I've learned enough to pull back, try a different approach, and that's really what's happened with this bumper. The whole issue that's led me on this were these Cadillac parts that I just love. They're super nice. But in comparison to the way that the contour of the Buick fits the body, if you look through here, it's a perfect contour. Look how hard the angle difference is. Even more than just the fit up, you know, the style of these Cadillac parts, it just didn't really fit the whole vibe of the car. Anybody could just take a Cadillac part and stick it on there. Cadillac is really busy. I want all the busy up front. That's part of the reason I like to keep so much stuff around. You know, it's like sometimes it just comes down to fitting up physical pieces. Buick on weirdo rear Packard design, and it fits. When the car's laid, this plants. And it looks a little funky because there's just nothing in the center of the car, and that's where the Cadillac bullet debate began. My field trip down to Victor's, I just grabbed everything that felt like it could be appropriate. So I saw these two big Cadillac parts, and they directly resembled the Dagmar bumpers on the front. But it just looked weird. It's like it just ends. I knew Victor had these. These are 55 Cadillac. I like cartoony, but that's just too much. I don't give up easy, you know, you gotta keep pushing until it's right. So on my third trip to Victor's, I just brought everything. I took everything off the wall. These are like DeSoto parts, there's some Kaiser parts, we got all these different little chromies. I left no part untouched in my quest for the right fit on this rear bumper. As I'm going through his place, I see this other grill bar. Well, the concept with this guy was to fuse these little bullets into it, and then I got to thinking, what if he just used the whole thing? It's like it fits. You got your bullet. There's a nice upper bar. Sometimes it's just as easy as that. It's like choosing the right part. I really feel like this is gonna seal the deal. Let me grind these welds a little bit, tack it on, and take a look. This car is evolving. It is a collaboration. I'm just trying to get a few points settled, get it to Victor's, and let the quest continue. Mission gets twisted as usual, but I'm feeling it. Fits the contour of that body. It's got the bullets. It makes the car feel lower to the ground. I love how the edge of the bumper will turn down where it meets the skirt. I think there could possibly be room for development, but right now this bumper fits the bill. When you put something in place and it fits, it fits. This line, follow it. It goes right down. I'm ready to deliver this to Victor. I think the statement is made. This is full custom. Everything's changed. I'm interested to see what his minor enhancements are. I got the metalwork on the Packard all wrapped up. I brought it down to Victor's, and now it's time for the handoff.
She's home, Ian, she's home.
Ball's back in your court, sir. I got all the heavy fabrication done.
I mean, she looks better in my garage than your garage. Look at that thing, it's even glowing.
This is where it's supposed to be, man. This is where the magic happens. Victor's excited. He's raring to go. I haven't seen him this ready in a while. That could be a good thing, or it could be trouble.
She's home and she knows she's gonna get a makeover.
Okay. I showed Victor the rear bumper and got him up to speed.
The theme is the same, so bullets in the front, as you're coming out, bullets in the back.
Well, in keeping with our context, we still don't have taillights, so that'll be a challenge. We can figure that out after you paint it.
The canvas is here. I mean, that'll make a grown man cry.
That's the thing, you don't want to see this coming down a dark alleyway at night, man. You get nightmares about it.
I mean, you definitely took it to the limit.
Yeah. Be a little tough coming up to a parking block. I can't even see the front of the car. I have no idea where this thing ends.
I don't know what it is about this garage. I mean, I'm starting to see things. I mean, visions of incredible enhancements that we could do.
There he goes with the E word again. I know, it's just a few subtle enhancements, right?
The way I see it now, she's happy. I could come out now in the middle of the night and just look at it. She might want to get changed a little.
We've gotten into trouble before on other projects with Victor's midnight envisioning process. I just want the project to go all the way, all the way where, I don't know, but that's where we're headed. I got ideas too. Just because I'm bringing it down here doesn't mean I'm checking out. There's a few things that I want to see happen with the car also. Seeing this car has me thinking, about another project that I really want to get my hands on, while Victor has his hands on this project. 2 at a time, double trouble, high stakes. It's exactly the way I like to roll.
I'm gonna be up this next week, I know it already, just dreaming of this damn car, but hey, that's what I do. I love this.
Sky's the limit to where this project could go. When Victor gets involved, it's going big. Hold on to your hats.